Folks, I have got something really cool that I cannot wait to share with you. If you're a fan of JoBlo, that probably means that you're a fan of movies. And if you're a fan of movies, that probably means that you're a fan of high quality movies. And in that case, you've probably heard of the Shout Factory. For those of you that don't know, Shout Factory is a company that essentially takes classic films and restores the original footage into a 4K print, which is then transferred to a Blu-ray, which you can buy. Don't ask me about the process of doing all of that, okay? I'm not a scientist, nor am I the gurus at Shout Factory, but something cool that I wanted to share with you guys. The Shout Factory recently released The Stepfather from 1987 on 4K Blu-ray. Not only is this like one of my favorite thriller movies of all time, it's also a movie that I have talked about ad nauseum for JoBlo, so needless to say, I know this movie pretty well. But if you want to know the cool part, the special features on both discs happen to include an audio commentary from none other than me, from JoBlo.
Wait a minute. Who am I here?
Basically, how this went down was I made a video for JoBlo Horror a couple of months ago breaking down why I love The Stepfather so much and why it's still such a popular movie all these years later. Completely unbeknownst to me, the Shout Factory happened to be working on a 4K restoration of the film, and at that time, somebody from Shout Factory saw my video. So Joe from Shout Factory, if you're watching this, we love you, buddy. Anyway, Shout Factory wanted to know if I would be interested in taking some of my passion and knowledge for The Stepfather and contributing to the special features of the Blu-ray. If you look closely, you can see I'm here on disc 1, new commentary with film critic Keir Gomes, and then on disc 2, I'm in there with a bunch of other great commentary. I mean, you guys talk about a cool milestone in my career. This is a movie that I grew up watching and loving, and now I got to contribute to the best this movie has ever looked and sounded. Now, this is not sponsored by Shout Factory, but I would really appreciate, for those of you that are fans of JoBlo, and specifically for those of you that are fans of my voice, please go pre-order this Blu-ray. It comes on 4K, it looks incredible. I've already watched it twice. I haven't taken the plunge into watching my own commentary yet. I just don't know if I can do it, but I have a feeling that you definitely can. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put a QR code right here, and you can scan that QR code to go to the Shout Factory website and pre-order yourself a copy of The Stepfather. In fact, if you go there now, it's currently on sale for a discount, so I would recommend go save a couple of bucks and get it now. As movie lovers here at JoBlo, it means so much for us to be able to collaborate with companies like Shout Factory, who are doing so much to preserve physical media for movie lovers. Truthfully, anything we can do to help keep that ship going is important to us. So if you guys want to help support this movie, but other movies in the future, go pick it up on 4K and let's keep these physical copies alive. And without further ado, let's roll the intro and get to the live stream. Hello. Looks like we are live and ready to rock. How's everybody doing? Looks like we've already got some people in the chat. Welcome to Friday Night Flicks, everybody. My name is Keir Gomes, and as I do every Friday, I'm going to be your host this evening. And guys, we got a great show lined up. We got something that you guys are going to probably want to chuck your thoughts on in the comments, so get ready for that. Let's put on some music here, and let's get the show going. Got to make sure the music's not too loud, you know? That's key. Okay, let me know if you guys like that one. Again, hopefully not too loud. Maybe I'll turn it down a little bit just in case. Okay, how's everybody doing? Happy Friday once again, everybody. I can't believe that these weeks fly by so fast. I feel like it was just last week that me and Tyler were on here talking about Alien Romulus, which, spoiler alert, we may or may not talk a little bit about tonight, one way or the other. But yeah, first I did want to talk about, so for those of you that were here for the pre-show video, it was a little bit short and a little bit scrappy. I made it yesterday for you guys because we wanted to talk about the new 4K release of The Stepfather, the 1987 Stepfather, the good one, on Blu-ray from Shout Factory. So this is what it looks like. I know I had some B-roll of it in the video, but I'm actually on both discs. I'm on disc 1 and disc 2. So for those of you that want to check it out, let's put the QR code back up for a little bit here. Let's get that right here. You guys can scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to Shout Factory's website where you can pre-order this Blu-ray, and now is a good time to get it. It is currently discounted, so if you guys want to go grab one while it's cheaper, please go do it. Happy Friday. Hello, happy Friday to you as well. Thank you all so much for being here. Brad, did I get any Dark Horse comics yet? No, not yet. Not yet. I'm still waiting on Tyler's recommendations from last week. I definitely am going to check them out, though. So guys, tonight the main topic for tonight anyway is going to be summer blockbusters of this year. Essentially, here's kind of how this is going to go down this evening. I think the best way to go is I'm going to start with some honorable mentions, and then we'll just go from top, like from 5 to 1. So we'll go from least favorite of my favorite to my most favorite of the summer. And I'm going to pre-warn you guys now, because I know that some of you guys inevitably will probably miss this piece of it, but when I say summer blockbusters, I mean summer blockbusters. So I'm talking like mostly June, July, and August. There may be some May stuff in there. So let's say from May to this month. That's, for me, the summer blockbuster season. That's kind of when these big blockbuster movies come out, and that's going to be how we rank these. So for those of you that, are upset that a movie that maybe you saw in April that you loved, or maybe you loved Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire, that's probably not going to be on this list because it came out too early for me to consider it a summer blockbuster. Now, the other rule for this particular ranking is going to be that when I say blockbuster, I'm talking marketed, big budget cast, a blockbuster film. Okay. So unfortunately, there's been some really great independent films this summer. Those are not on this list. That's for a different list that maybe we'll get to a different time. Okay. So don't be coming at me in the comments mad that I didn't mention your favorite movie. I promise it's on a different list somewhere. Just not this one. Hello, Obader Limit. Phase 4 and 5 of the MCU are a game of cameos. More cameos in your movie, not just post-credits. The more money you'll make. I think that's fortunate and unfortunate, right? Because sometimes then you get a movie that's just based on cameos, and you kind of get into the slippery water there a little bit. Slippery water. Brad Perkins, only summer blockbusters I've seen are Deadpool and Alien. Well, you saw two of the ones to see this summer, Brad. So there's that. Brian Stevens, hello, Brian. Thank you for being here. Jaws will always be the ultimate summer blockbuster. It's the OG. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm talking summer blockbusters 2024. So this summer's blockbusters, just so you guys know. Because if you're thinking I'm going to be talking top 5 blockbusters of all time, first of all, that's a much harder list to narrow down. Second of all, you would be so disappointed if you thought that's what this video is, because these 5 movies, while they might be the best blockbusters this year, I don't think any of them are the best blockbusters of all time. Better limit. Yeah. If we're talking box office numbers for the MCU, it seems like the more familiar faces you cram in there, the more money they make. But I don't think that in any way speaks to the quality of those movies, because some of them are good, some of them are not good, and a good cameo can't make a bad movie better, or maybe better, but it can't make a bad movie good. Yeah, No Way Home made $2 billion. 2 Bilskis. All right, guys. Let's talk chat for a second. Make sure you stay active in the chat. I have a feeling that everybody's favorite movie of the summer is going to be different, especially when we talk about these blockbuster movies, because for the most part, they're almost all sequels. And in that regard, it kind of seems like some people love these things and some people are kind of tired of them, So Make sure you guys put your opinions and favorite blockbusters in the comments as we go. I'll do my best to kind of shout them out and get to them as we go. And then the other thing is we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this episode. So I'm gonna when we get to the giveaway, I'll talk about it more. But whoever wins tonight's giveaway, please get in contact with me. Okay, please. I'll give you my email address like I always do. Whoever wins tonight's giveaway, just give me the info I need to send you your winnings. Okay, you're gonna want it. All right, let's get into it, guys. You guys want to get up in here? Let's do it. Looks like there's a good amount of you in there. So let's get to it. Let's start with some honorable mentions. Yeah, I feel like honorable mentions are a good place to start. These three movies, we got The Fall Guy, we got Bad Boys, Ride or Die, and we got A Quiet Place Day One. Individually, I thought all of these movies were pretty serviceable. I know that The Fall Guy, the extended cut, is out now, and I might check that out. I kind of want to see what else is in there. It's kind of a pretty epic movie as it is. I thought The Fall Guy was good. You know, I have no connection or nostalgia towards the original 80s TV series. I've never seen it. So going in there not knowing what to expect, I think was probably to my benefit, because my understanding is that this movie is not very similar to the TV show in any way. So I think maybe I liked this movie more as a result of that. So definitely worth an honorable mention. I very much enjoyed the comedy. I think Ryan Gosling is great. I think Emily Blunt was amazing in this movie. I mean, she's good in pretty much everything, but she was really good in this movie. And, you know, Aaron Taylor Johnson's great too. So pretty solid movie. Bad Boys, Ride or Die. It was also good to me. I liked it. You know, I like the Bad Boys franchise, and I'm not afraid to admit I like all of the movies in the Bad Boys franchise. All four of them are good to me. So if you ask me, I would say the Bad Boys franchise is kind of like one of those. It might not be as iconic as some of the movies individually. Like I think Bad Boys 2, probably the most iconic of this franchise and the best one in my opinion. So the franchise might not be as iconic as some of the singular films within it. However, if you were to just submit or commit, I don't know, a weekend to just two Bad Boys movies a day, 1 and 2 on day one, 3 and 4 on the next day, I think you would see that as a franchise, it functions very well. It's a very good franchise. The character arcs make sense. They kind of, if you look at the period of time these movies take place, while this latest one might have felt a little silly and a little high octane, I do kind of think it makes perfect sense if you watch them all kind of in a row. And then as far as A Quiet Place Day One, it's probably my favorite of the A Quiet Place movies so far. I don't know if I saw the second one, but I definitely saw the first one, thought it was okay. I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. However, this new one, this prequel, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty awesome. Yeah, it looks like some of you guys big fans of Bad Boys, and then some of you not so much. Rick Jones is boycotting Will Smith forever. Yeah, he definitely fucked up slapping Chris Rock across the face. Not a cool move. I got to give you that. Bad Boys was the best of the three. Yeah, it was of those three movies, I would say Bad Boys was definitely, it's probably one of the most rewatchable too. The one thing with A Quiet Place Day One, which I really did enjoy, it's not entirely something that I'm going to want to go back and rewatch very often. Those movies in general, they're just very stressful. So they're not really like, they're not rewatchable in the same way as something like Bad Boys or The Fall Guy even. Yeah, it looks like some of you guys are all about Bad Boys. Yes. Alistair Campbell, cool name. The original Bad Boys is the best one in my opinion. I mean, you got to love them all though. You know, they're all good. I also saw, and I want to get to this, Shadow of the Statue. Hello, and thank you for being here. My thoughts on The Crow, if we're talking about the original film, the Brandon Lee film, I love it. I would say I was introduced to that movie. It came out the year I was born, but I was introduced to it probably, I don't know, when I was 5 or 6, and it has been a staple movie in my life. But the remake I have not seen. I've avoided it. It's not anything against Bill Skarsgård. It's not even that I've heard it's that bad. I just wasn't sold from the trailer, and that's it. And I got better things to watch than that movie. You know, luckily we have a few people on staff that take the bullets and see those movies, so I don't have to. That's a shout out to Chris Bumbray. Would I count Beverly Hills Axel F as a blockbuster? Listen, obviously the only debatable factor in whether or not it's a blockbuster is the fact that it went straight to Netflix. Nah, I don't know. I don't think I would consider. Maybe. I'm not sure. That's a good question, Conway. If I did consider it a blockbuster, it still wouldn't have made the list. So in that regard, it doesn't make any difference. But I honestly, that's a good question, and I don't think I would consider it a blockbuster. I just don't really know why. I don't have a good reason. Okay. Obater Limit. Looks like yeah, you got a lot of opinions on Will Smith. I totally get it, man. I totally get it. I think many people share that sentiment. I don't know. I mean, have I forgiven him? I still feel a little weird championing Will Smith. So I don't champion Will Smith the way I would have pre-slap. But I also, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Bad Boys is cool either way. I don't know what to say. Yeah, some of you guys are big fans of Axel F. Some of you definitely also would consider it a blockbuster. That's good to know. Yeah, here we go, Brad. This is a statement I agree with. I'm actually king of Sport Cal. I'll get to you. Axel F was decent, better than Part 3, not as good as 1 and 2. I totally agree. Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, classics, man. Absolute banger movies. That's how you guys remember in Beverly Hills Cop 2 when he's pretending he's got a bomb. That's probably my favorite scene. I think we talked about that once. And then King Sport Cal says Kira's 30. Noted. Wrong, my friend. Wrong. I'm actually 31. You almost had it. I'm 31. Okay. I know I look like I'm 40. I don't know why. All right. So you guys know my honorable mentions. We had The Fall Guy, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, and then we had A Quiet Place Part 1. But let's talk about the actual top 5. Now, remember, we're talking blockbusters of the summer from, like, let's say late May to the end of August. Okay, summer blockbusters 2024, top 5. It's going down. Here we go. Zombie Victim, now talk about Mel Gibson. Was talking about Will Smith just like the worst move ever? Is that what it was? Okay, doesn't matter. Let's get into top 5. So coming in at number 5, this is one that I didn't expect to be on here, and that is Furiosa. And the only reason, I want to say this, the only reason I didn't expect this to be on here, I actually had a feeling I was going to like Furiosa. The only thing was I wasn't really that excited to see this movie just because I'm not that huge on not on Mel Gibson. Tyler got me distracted. On the Mad Max saga. I like the movies, but they came into my life very late, and I'm not as knowledgeable about those movies as, you know, the common Mad Max fans, you know? So that's why. But to be honest, dude, this movie fucking ruled. I thought it was so good. I think Fury Road is still my favorite Mad Max movie. I don't know where you guys stand on that. Hopefully I'm not alone. I think Mad Max Fury Road was incredible. I still love it. Furiosa, though, I thought it was awesome. Anya Taylor-Joy is interesting. I thought for sure she was going to be like in the movie every single scene. She wasn't in it as much as I thought she would be. Still a good amount, but the other actress that plays an even younger Furiosa also did a great job. And this is George Miller. So at the very least, you know, it's probably going to be good. And it's going to look good. Those are kind of the two things you can count on. Now, this didn't look as good as Fury Road. You could feel a little less practicality. There was a little less of what made Fury Road so sexy. But I think I don't know, because also that almost sounds like I'm saying this movie didn't look amazing. It does look amazing, by the way. And when this comes out on 4K, might already be out on 4K. it's gonna look great there as well. So if you guys didn't see this one, check it out. I think in terms of the Mad Max saga, I like these newer movies. I liked Fury Road a lot, and I thought this one was great too. So it's in my top 5, but it's on the outside of the top 5. You know what I mean? It had to be in last place. I think everything above this on the list came a little closer to my preference. Road Warrior was Alistair's favorite Mad Max. I'm assuming you mean favorite Mad Max film or just your favorite film in general. That seems to be the favorite of all of the Mad Max movies for the most part. Tina Turner was a better baddie. I love your guys' comments. I do feel bad because sometimes I catch them late and they'll be, in a funny retort to something I said earlier, but I still want to get them up here and pin them. So bear with me. Clark Herman, thank you for being here. Clark, when do you think state-of-the-art special effects became common? The 90s? Well, yeah. I mean, before The Matrix, I always think of The Matrix as like that was the point. That's like the center point, right? So I think before The Matrix, there was movies trying to incorporate more and more and more special effects or CGI effects or digital effects. But I mean, practical effects have been kind of, they've been common in Hollywood forever. So I think that after The Matrix, that's when everything seemed to go digital. And I also think that some of the progress we had has backtracked a little bit. And I know a lot of that's just due to the time that people are getting to work on these things. But it is funny. And we're going to talk a lot more about this as we get down the list, because when it comes to special effects, I have a lot to say especially when it comes to some of the blockbusters we got this year. I'm going to save it. I don't want to get too hung up on it now because it's going to be a little more relevant later. Okay, so we had Furiosa at number 5. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen that one, if you're a fan of the Mad Max movies, you probably already saw this. But if you haven't, it's on HBO Max. I think it's on Max now. Yeah. So go check. It's on HBO Mad Max. Where was somebody in the comments with that one? Boom. Rick Jones says, Fury Road cinematographer retired and it shows. Yeah, I mean, I think it's not just the cinematography though. It's also the sets didn't look quite as real. And I think the cinematography of Furiosa is still very good. So, you know what I'm saying? Grand Admiral Thrawn, hello. Thank you for being here. King Sport Cow, Kier wasn't born for Jurassic Park. Okay. Let's get into my number 4. Okay, now number 4, this one maybe is a little bit more obvious, and that is obviously going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, you guys can give me shit because I know that not everybody liked this movie, and not everybody thought it was amazing. And I'll be honest, the more I get away, like the further I get from having seen it, the less enamored I am with it. But I also was not in love with it after I first saw it. I didn't lose my mind after I first saw it. I was excited about it, though. And I think a big part of that just has to do with the same things that get everybody excited about these things, especially for me as a big X-Men fan. And I love the Fox X-Men universe. It's probably movie for movie, I would say I'd probably rather watch the Fox X-Men universe than like more recent phases of the MCU, And so for me, it was fun for that reason, and pretty much that reason alone. I'm not the biggest MCU fan lately. I'm not the biggest Ryan Reynolds fan lately. So I think a lot of that stuff just I think a lot of the charm of that movie, I felt like I was impervious to it already. But let me tell you why I think Deadpool and Wolverine was one of the best blockbusters this year. Because it sounds like I didn't like it as much as Furiosa, yet here it is above Furiosa on the list. This movie did do a lot of things right. And I know that it's so easy to... This is what happens lately, is we see a new movie when it comes out, and all of a sudden, after we've seen it, there's this switch that flips in our brain where we go, it's either the best movie I've ever seen, or it's the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. And I think, in general, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? First of all, I've seen people saying that Deadpool was worse than you could possibly imagine. Where did all of this come from? Because it used to be that we would see a movie And if we didn't like it, we just didn't like it. And even if you hated it, it wasn't maybe the biggest, worst piece of trash you've ever seen. But then when you get a new Marvel movie coming out, 2 of them sometimes a year, 3 of them sometimes a year, and every single one of them is the worst piece of shit you've ever seen, I get a little bit annoyed and I try to like things more just to combat some of that ridiculous hyperbolic negativity. Now, to that end, I also think many people have been so hyped on this movie that they're exaggerating how much they do like it. And I'm not going to be that person. So, I got a little hot there, but I know you guys like when I do that. Let me take a break here and shout out Bumbray. I'm wearing the chain for you, my man. I'm wearing at least one every time you tune in because I know you're going to be here. So yeah. So to me, Deadpool and Wolverine was middle of the road, but it did do a lot of things right. I think in general it had a lot of heart. This was a movie that it did give you something to chew on in terms of feeling something. It wasn't just dick jokes, although there were one too many for me. Even for a Deadpool movie, you know, maybe I'm getting older, or maybe my sense of humor is getting worse, but like some of the jokes in this movie I felt were a little bit just like gratuitous or unnecessary. And sometimes that gives me the ick for a movie, but this one had enough heart and soul to keep me going. You know what? I like it because where it's funny, some of the time that comedy was very funny to me. And where it's supposed to be sweet and tender and emotional, I thought that was the most effective. And the cameos were pretty fucking sick, okay? Blade coming out in this movie. It had to be on the list. If nothing else, this movie makes the list because of Blade, okay? And if you're going to tell me that I'm not supposed to like Wesley Snipes because he didn't pay his taxes, I don't know. It has nothing to do with him, okay? Whoa. Obater Limit says Blade Trinity is better than Deadpool 3. I disagree. I hate Blade Trinity. I think Ryan Reynolds was at maybe his least annoying in that movie. His least annoying is still not great though, you know? And yeah, Blade Trinity didn't really work for me. I didn't really like it. I don't like seeing Blade being a background character. And for a lot of Blade Trinity, it felt like that. Even though, you know, like he kind of dominates over Reynolds and Beale in that movie, he joins their club, you know, and it kind of just feels like it's a Blade light as a result. So not a huge fan of Blade Trinity. In fact, I don't like that movie. Okay, so we had Furiosa. We had Deadpool and Wolverine. This is where I think the term blockbuster is gonna divide some of y'all. Okay, so let's see what happens. But number 3, one of my favorite movies of the year, and that is Maxxxine. I think this counts as a blockbuster, and I'm going to tell you why this counts as a summer blockbuster. First of all, I think Mia Goth is enough of an A-lister now to where we can confidently say if she's in a movie, it's part, or she's a star, right? If she was in a movie with 3 other people of her same exact stature, it would be an all-star lineup, right? So personally, I think the marketing for this movie, I think the fact that it's concluding a trilogy, I think the fact that, you know, you look at the box office, there was clearly Okay, guys, I'm back. Hopefully you can hear me now. Y'all, I am so sorry. We're having a little bit of rain and thunder here. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. So sorry about that, you guys. Our broadcast was interrupted due to weather. The power in my entire house went out. My lights went out. My camera went off. Everything went off. And then I had to get it all back up. So we're back. Can you guys hear me? I'm seeing silent Kier. Can I get a confirmation that that is no longer the case? Okay, all right. Thank you. Anthony Hoffman, you're my hero. Thank you, guys. Obader, hopefully you can hear me now. Okay. Whew, you guys. So let's talk about Maxxxine. My goodness. I am so sorry about that. So Maxxxine, I count as a blockbuster, and here's why. I think Mia Goth is enough of an A-lister now, and I also think that this movie was marketed as a blockbuster movie. This was not marketed like an indie A24. This was marketed like a big A24 movie. So anyway, I count it as a blockbuster. Thank you guys for confirming in the comments that I'm good. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, good. We're back. You guys, I hate when the power goes out, but in the middle of a live stream, you gotta be kidding me. What are the odds? All day, okay? All day, the weather was fine. It starts raining a little bit before the show, and then before the end of it, boom. So anyway, I love this movie. I love the movie Maxxxine. Here's the thing. I think that the trilogy, the X trilogy, was a bit, I don't know, divisive almost. I really enjoyed it, but like, for example, my wife does not like Pearl or X. She didn't like the first two movies. And neither did many of my friends, as a matter of fact. But I loved them. I thought the first one was really good. I especially liked the kind of schlocky elements of it. I really enjoyed Pearl, but then I saw this one because, you know, I mean, I wanted to complete the trilogy, but I was really into these movies, you know, the first two. This one, in my opinion, was the best one. Now, if you guys ask, like, Tyler Nichols, for example, I should have talked to him about this last week on the show. He also was not a huge fan, if I understand correctly, of the first two movies in the trilogy. But he did like this one. And I think that that says a lot about what kind of movie this is. This was not the same as X or Pearl. This was bigger and way more ambitious and a lot more unique, but still very homage heavy. This movie was so good. It was awesome, dude. I love it. And look at the cast. That's an all-star cast. Kevin Bacon, Mia Goth. Man, there's so many people in this movie. I think it is a blockbuster. I think it busted the block officially. Yeah, I think so. All right. Sorry, guys. That power outage really got me fucked up, but I'm back. Okay, I'm back. And the thing that disappointed me the most was I was like, if I don't get this thing back up and running, we're gonna miss the giveaway, and I don't want to miss the giveaway tonight. I'm excited. All right. So number 5, we had Furiosa. Number 4, we had Deadpool and Wolverine. Number 3, we had Maxxxine. Now, Maxxxine is a movie, again, I think that's the first one on this list from summer blockbusters that I loved this year. And then, obviously, the next two I loved even more. So we're going to talk about it, all right? Some of you, I lost some of you with Maxxxine. It looks like King of Sport wasn't a fan. Also not a fan of Mia Goth. I think she's great. I think she's cool. All right, so we got the first ones out of the way. Let's get to numero dos, okay? My number 2, my second favorite blockbuster this summer, and that was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I really like this movie. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm reading some of your questions here. Another Tremors. The Scrap Tremors reboot pilot. I don't know. Do we want to see that? Maybe we leave well enough alone. No, honestly, I would watch it, to be honest. I would watch it. And I agree, Alistair, that the X trilogy came out of nowhere. So let's talk Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, earlier in the show, I did mention that I wanted to come back to my point about special effects in movies, because this movie has some of the best CGI work I've ever seen in a movie. This movie looked of these I don't know. Can you guys hear me still? Hopefully. But yeah, this movie looks a lot like what you would imagine in your head when you hear that the Avengers or when you hear that, I don't know, like Thor Love and Thunder cost like X billion dollars to make, or X $100 million to make. You expect that the special effects would look like this movie, but this movie seems to be kind of in a league of its own this summer with special effects. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it looks amazing. It is amazing. I like this movie. I think the main criticism that I give this movie is that the human lady in it was probably not fully necessary. I get that it is part of the, I guess, the story and the development that they were looking to go for. But to me, I was all about the apes. I wanted to see all of these dudes all the time. This is kind of one of those ones where you can rewatch it often, because while it does feel a little bit like an epic, and it's also a franchise film, which means that it's connected to many other movies that you maybe don't remember or haven't seen. I would say, really, if you've seen the original, like Reeves, or not the original, the previous trilogy, this is, it's an extension of that. That's all you need to see. But also, you can kind of rewatch this as a standalone movie, and it's going to entertain you every single time. I gotta Obey or Limit. You got some hot takes today, my friend. Obey or Limit says Planet of the Apes 2001 is the second best. In my opinion, I think that's the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg. And I think that movie sucks. I had an action figure. I had a little Mark Wahlberg astronaut action figure when that movie came out. Because keep in mind, now that you guys know how old I am, when did that movie come out? 2001? Yeah, I was probably 8 years old or something when that movie came out. I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. How about that? Well, Cartoon Man, I just answered your question. Thoughts on Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes? I don't like it. I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. Now, granted, maybe I need to give it a chance beyond. I've seen it in my adult life in parts. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it all the way through since the first time I saw it when I was a kid. But to be honest, man, not a huge fan. I think Tim Burton's awesome, but Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, that's one of those Tim Burton movies I forget he made. And I would like to know, maybe I'm not alone. Now, Planet of the Apes 1968, love it. Love it. Still love it to this day. That movie doesn't really get old to me. I put that one up there kind of like with, Lord of the Rings. It's one of those movies that there's a sense of comfort that I just get from watching it that doesn't get old to me. Don't diss Ape Lincoln. Congo, dude. Woo, Obey or Limit. You are all about those hot takes. Yeah, not a fan of Congo either, although Tim Curry is probably my favorite actor of all time, ever. Brad Perkins, Kier Gomes, 31. Too old to trick or treat, too young to die. You're one of us, young fella. Yeah. I will trick or treat if I damn well please, Bradley. You don't tell me when I'm allowed to trick or treat. No, maybe I am a little too old. I haven't been trick or treating in a very long time. But if I want to do it and I decide that I want to do it, I'm doing it, and I don't care how old I am. Mighty Joe Young. Now that is a gorilla movie. That's an ape movie for the ages. I feel like ever since I told you guys how old I am, I'm getting a comment about that every couple of minutes. That's very funny. A lot of people telling me what movies I'm older and younger than. I think I'm an old soul. Maybe that's why I look like I'm 57 years old or something. Maybe that's it, All right, so number 5, we had Furiosa. Number 4, we had Deadpool and Wolverine, or Deadpool 3, or Deadpool and Gambit in Blade 2, or Deadpool and Gambit and Elektra and Johnny and everybody else. That movie that movie kind of marked like the end of my top 5 that I wasn't crazy about. But then we had Maxxxine at number 3. That's a movie I am very much crazy about. And Planet of the Apes. I think this movie's phenomenal. I love it. Brad says, speaking of, does anyone else dress up for Halloween still? I'm 39 and I'm going as Art to Clown. Dude, do it until the wheels come off, Brad. I dress up every single Halloween, even though it's usually just my wife and I going out with our friends. It's more fun to party in a Halloween costume on Halloween. I do it every year. In fact, What I wonder what year Halloween or what day Halloween falls on. If it's a live stream day, maybe I'll wear a costume for I'll probably do that anyway whenever our Halloween stream comes up. But let's get into my numero uno, my favorite blockbuster this summer. What was it? It was Alien fucking Romulus. Of course it was. If you guys missed last week when Tyler and I talked about this, I like this movie a lot. I like this movie so much that it's the top of my list. Okay. Where do I start? I love the original Alien. I love what Ridley Scott did with making a horror movie and a thriller movie and a sci-fi movie into a nice, slow, indulgent, juicy, amazing movie. I think all of those standards were pretty much upheld here with Fede Alvarez's take on it. Now, this movie took place between Alien 1 and Aliens. So in betwixt those two movies is this movie. Yeah, I had a feeling that Obader Limit would come in here with a hot take here. Alien 3 is better than Alien Romulus. Boo. Shame on you. Shame. I disagree 1,000%. Yeah, King of Sport Cal, I'm sorry you didn't like it, man. I'm sorry you didn't like it, but I did, and I'm allowed to not like it. So, or you're allowed to not like it, and I'm allowed to like it. So do what you got to do, my man. Yeah, listen, you guys, if you were on the stream last week, then you know that this movie didn't sit right with me in all facets. I hated the last 20 minutes of this movie. In fact, let me just start there, King of Sport, before you exit and before you hate me forever. Let me start there. If your beef with this movie was the last 20 minutes, keep in mind that was on the show last week. That was the part of the movie that I did not like. That was the part of the movie that I trashed. So if that's the part you didn't like, then, you know, we're the same. But listen to me. You have to take into account there's other elements here, okay? Now, every single movie on this list was a sequel, which is, I think, kind of sad, you know, that that's kind of the options that we get this year. It would have been nice if there was more original stuff, but for a prequel, sequel, whatever this is, to Alien, dude, this movie, aside from its connection to like the engineer stuff at the end, this movie hits on everything you would want an Alien movie to hit on. And if you really love Alien or Aliens, you know that. And it's okay if you don't like it. You don't have to like it. Some people didn't, but I sure did. Did the last 20 minutes kind of sour me? Totally, but they did for everybody. It wasn't perfect for everyone. In fact, I don't know if anybody really loved it through and through, but man, the movie ends before that ending. If you cut off the last 20 minutes of that movie and you just don't watch it, you turn off your Blu-ray player right before what's her name gives birth, then you have yourself the third best Alien movie. Period. In my opinion, barring the last 20 minutes, this is definitely the third best Alien film that's been made. So, I don't know. It's the best one. I love it. I love it. I love this movie. I know that it's not perfect. I know that the ending wasn't great, but nah. My first picks should be number 1 and 2. No. Deadpool should not be at the top of my blockbuster list. I don't know. And Furiosa was good, but I'm not so deep into the Mad Max lore that I appreciate it outside of exactly what it is, you know? Yeah, some of y'all liked Alien Romulus. Where are my Alien Romulus supporters at here? Yeah, the callback. So, Rick, we talked about this last week too. The callback lines were another big problem I had with the movie the first time I watched it. I hated when Andy hit us with that "stay away from her, you bitch." I hated that. But the second time I saw it, it actually didn't bother me that much. Powder Keg, yeah, you were definitely there last week. Tyler proclaimed his love and admiration for Ridley Scott. He loves him. Yeah, so Powder Keg, as you know, that's very funny. For anybody that was on the stream last week, Tyler did give us a really nice rant about how he feels about Ridley Scott, and I thought it was so funny. It actually had me laughing on the show for a moment, laughing myself into like, I gotta calm down here because we're live. All right. I'm gonna start focusing on y'all's love for Alien Romulus, okay? Because the 1 or 2 haters in here are commenting every second. Yeah, Andy was my favorite part of the movie. I think the Xenomorph probably, but Andy was great. I agree. Romulus was the best blockbuster this summer. It was better than Deadpool and Wolverine for sure. So I know that's one that a lot of people had to be on there. Not for me. John. Producer and friend of the show, John Fallon says, I hope The Crow 2024 will be on your list. Let's check the Magic 8 Ball here. Ooh, it says here, not fucking likely. I actually still haven't seen it, to be honest. So even in that regard, I can't do it. I liked Romulus as much as Prometheus. I'm not like the biggest fan of the Prometheus Alien Covenant time stuff. Like that era of movies, nah. And then Inside Out 2, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, as much as I want to see it because I love the first one, I still have not seen Inside Out 2, so that's why. Ooh, you guys want to see a worst blockbusters of 2020? Maybe we should wait till the end of the year and we'll do a best movies of 2024 and a worst movies of 2024. And those would be fun to do with a guest. So maybe we can get some guests on for that. Kingsport Cal says, I'm not a hater. I just don't like trash and I throw it away. Yeah, but if the idea of what's trash is subjective, you got to remember that. So one man's trash is another man's good ass movie. And I think we should still be friends. I don't think our taste in movies should be the only deciding factor in whether or not we respect each other here, buddy. I don't know. If you feel that way, that's cool. But I hope not. I hope we're better friends than that after all these weeks. All right. John saw The Crow twice on the big screen and enjoyed it. So, hey. There's that. I haven't seen it. I can't talk shit because I have not seen it. I just know what everybody else says about it. And truthfully, I don't always agree with anybody else. So I'm one of the few people that thinks like I'm not even going to say it. Sometimes I get into my hot takes and then you guys make me feel all bad about it. You hit me with worst movie of what? Bradley Perkins? You think stop motion was the worst movie this year? Dude, stop motion was awesome. Stop motion was one of my favorite horror movies this year so far. I loved it. Kingsport Cal, who said we were friends? Me. I declared it. I consider anybody that comes to hang out with me once a week a friend. Okay? So we are friends, buddy. Like it or not. You guys want to do a giveaway? You guys want to give away some stuff? You guys want to win something? Wow, some of these takes are hilarious. Look, Brandon Lee would have been a great Joker. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you see him in the Crow makeup, yeah, but like, no, I don't know. Actually, maybe he would have. Honestly, maybe. I've never thought of that, so maybe that's why it sounds so strange to me. But the Crow's kind of the opposite, kind of like morally, but I guess like. He definitely could have had the look, 100%. Kingsport Cal, good. So we are still friends. All right. So you guys, there's my top 5 as far as summer blockbusters. Kind of a dull year for anything. Like I think horror is probably the genre that had the best year so far because all of my favorite movies this year have been horror. Which, I mean, I guess kind of is the case for most like years, like most of my favorite, actually, like if I look at like the entire 80s, I liked like the most variety of movies I like probably comes from like the 80s. And then the closer we get to today, it's like, horror movies or like legacy things I'm nostalgic about seem to be the ones that hit. Joker, Joaquin Phoenix is a good guy. I don't know how you could possibly get that from the movie. Did you watch the same movie as everybody else? Yeah, Twisters was absolutely a blockbuster. And I saw, by the way, Conway, I saw your comment that Twisters was not on this list. Yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I like Glenn Powell. You know what? Here's my review of Twisters. Official JoBlo Kier Gomes review, okay? I called Twisters about 90 minutes. That's my description of it's about the length of a full movie, and that's how I will remember it. It was just a movie I saw. I don't really have a lot more to say about it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either, but that's the thing. I didn't really think anything about Twisters. But I don't have a ton of nostalgia for the original Twist. Like I liked it, and when I was a kid, I thought it was like kind of scary, to be honest. But I never like, I like it probably more now than I ever have. And so I wasn't quite nostalgic about Twister. So seeing Twisters, I think there was a lot of like references and things that were similar to Twister that I just kind of was like, if I loved that movie, maybe I would love this more, you know? Yeah, Obader, I agree. Bill Paxton did it better. Bill Paxton, rest in peace. Bill Paxton's the man. Everyone knows that. Brad says Little Shop of Horrors is I don't quite disagree. I like Little Shop of Horrors. Actually, Brad, I made a TikTok about this, but Little Shop of Horrors is in my top 5 musicals of all time. But the best musical of all time is this one, Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's the best one. That is the best one. A Weird Science reboot? That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I wouldn't mind that. All right, let's do a giveaway, you guys. How about that? We like giveaways around here. Hopefully, tonight's winner will take the time to email me their info, and we can get you a JoBlo t-shirt. We're going to be giving away some JoBlo merch, and all you have to do to win, this is going to be an opinion-based giveaway. Who should host the next Academy Awards? Who do you guys think would be a good host for the next Academy Awards? Comment your answers. I'm going to pick my favorite one, and that person will get to pick whatever t-shirt they want off the JoBlo merch store, and we will mail it out to you in your size. You guys can see I'm wearing my JoBlo logo tee, the 3D glasses one. I like this shirt. It makes me feel like a kid again. When I first started reading JoBlo, the logo was like my favorite thing ever. I used to draw it in my notebook. It wasn't this one. It was the original one, but I love me a JoBlo logo. Ooh, Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal was the host of the Oscars the year that I was born. How about that? That's a good one. Hugh Jackman would be a pretty good host. I think Hugh Jackman's funny. Oh, Shadow of the Statue. I love Jesus Christ Superstar, my man. Love Jesus Christ Superstar. Probably also a top 10, probably for me. Cartoon Man says Kevin Hart should host. I don't know. I like Kevin Hart, but his shtick kind of gets old for me sometimes, you know? Although I would say in general, I think he's probably one of the more bankable, you know? Bill Cosby, that's a terrible joke, Rick. Absolutely not. Ooh, John Mulaney. That's a good one, Mike, but you're ineligible to win. Mike, you can't win. John Fallon. John Fallon says John Fallon should host the next Oscars. John, I would love to know. You're going to have to give me a call sometime, and I would like for you to act out for me how you would introduce the nominees for Best Director, Best Actor, because I just have a feeling it would be amazing, and I would love to make that into a reality. In fact, let's get a petition going to have John host the Oscars. Oh, Alistair Campbell comes in with a zinger, followed by Obader Limit, who shared the exact same sentiment. Cartoon Man, come on, that's not funny. That's not a funny comment. I'm not going to pin that one. Ooh, King Sport Cow. Tilda Swinton, one of my favorite actresses of all time. That's a good one. I like Tilda Swinton. That one is funny. Jaden Smith should host it. Oh, I like this. A little Sweet Revenge. Chris Rock should host it. Ooh, Eddie Murphy. Nicolas Cage. We got someone coming after my heart here, Powder Keg. All right, let's get a few more. I think I know. Ooh, Carl Urban. That's a good one. He's very charming. That's a good one. Like in real life, I feel like Carl Urban is very charming. You know, maybe not when he's playing Butcher, but Mr. Beast. He can't host the Oscar. I don't think Mr. Beast watches movies. He probably only watches YouTube. He's probably seen more JoBlo videos than movies. All right, let's get a couple more submissions. Man, there's some good ones in here though. Yeah, Ricky Gervais, definitely. I mean, you know, he'd do a good job at roasting everybody in the audience at least, and that's fun to watch. Brie Larson. Okay, I think I know. And 3 of you have said this. It looks like we had Rosa gave this. Obader gave it. Actually, it looks like Obader Limit was the first one. So here we go. Chris Rock should host the next Oscar. That's our winner. It has to be. Here's why. Number 1, what are the odds that we organically, the conversation organically came up about the Oscars and specifically the Will Smith slap? And then the giveaway happens to be tied to an Oscar-related question. This just feels like justice. This feels like full circle. And I think we need to get either John Fallon or Chris Rock to host the Oscars. I mean, personally, I have a feeling that next year the Oscars will be hosted by probably like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together. The way things are going, they're going to be promoting Deadpool and Wolverine, the PG-13 edition that they're going to release, you know, whatever bullshit. So I don't know. It'll probably be Deadpool and Wolverine hosting it in costume, I bet, too. A Tupac hologram. Dang, that's a good one, too. Luckily, this is from the same commenter. So, Obader Limit, you are the winner of tonight's giveaway. Here's what I'm going to need for you to do, my friend, is send an email to this email address. Now, listen, I'm going to leave this on screen for a while because the last few giveaways, I put the email address on screen, and it takes some people a while to email me, and it makes me wonder if I just didn't leave it on screen long enough. So here you go. Obader Limit, that's my email address. That's kiergomes@joblo.com. Pretty straightforward. My first and last name at JoBlo. Please email me 2 things. I need what shirt and size you want, so you can go to the JoBlo merch store and pick one out. Here's the QR code to go straight there. So let me know what design you want, what size you want. If there's a color, a specific color, let me know that too. And then just let me know where to ship it. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know anything else, but I need to know that. So please email kiergomes@joblo.com. I want to send somebody a shirt. I would love to. I would love to get a whole army of people wearing this every Friday. How cool would that be if we were all wearing matching shirts? Come on. Start a little JoBlo, a very inclusive, non-creepy cult. A JoBlo t-shirt cult. A Tupac hologram with an AI voice revealing the killer live on TV. That's a banger of a comment, Benjamin. And welcome back, by the way. Thank you for being here. All right, guys. So for those of you that did not win the shirt, don't be sad. You can still grab your JoBlo merch by going to the JoBlo merch store, picking out your favorite design. Now, we don't have just shirts. We've also got some mugs. This one lately has been my favorite. It's nostalgic for me. I like it. It looks cool. It makes me feel, you know, like I'm wearing a uniform for work, and I enjoy that. So, aside from the technical issues, I think tonight's show went pretty well, but I do want to say, you guys, most important and more important than anything, it's important that we get better movies next year. I want my next summer blockbuster list to be better, okay? Here's the thing. I'm excited about so few movies sometimes, and it makes me feel like to make a top 5 means that there has to be a top 5. And I would like for next summer for me to be like, I got to do a top 10 because 5 ain't enough, because there was so much gold this year. I miss the summer blockbuster season of old. You know, I miss like going to the movies every second Friday and seeing a big movie that got me excited. And I still chase it. I still go to the movies so often chasing that feeling. And maybe it's just that I'm older, but I feel like next year we need better fucking movies. You know what I'm saying? And no, we don't sell JoBlo baseball caps, but I wish we did. Maybe we will. If we can get some t-shirts in your guys' hands and you're interested, obviously the only way for us to be able to make that stuff is if we know that you want it. So if you ask for baseball caps and enough of you want them, we'll be able to make them happen. And I would like to do that because you guys know I wear hats all the time. Some of you guys are looking at our most popular videos. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So yeah, if you guys are interested in merch, again, if you didn't get a if you didn't win the giveaway, if you're not obeyed or limit, then scan the QR code, pick up your merch, and tune in next week, guys. I have a feeling that next week is going to be an interesting one because now that we're out of summer blockbuster season, we're getting into like Halloween movie releases. So, and that's stuff that I'm excited to talk about. So hopefully you guys are too. We're going to be transitioning out of summer blockbusters into the fall, and that's going to be good stuff. So, final words from Grand Admiral Thrawn. He wants ball caps. And look at this, producer John, you ask and you should receive. We'll work on those caps. And as soon as we work on those caps, I want one. I'll pay for it like everyone else. Oh, yeah. No, you know what, though? King of Sport Cal, I feel like I was a teen in the 90s in terms of movies because I grew up with a pretty diverse taste in movies. My stepmom growing up was not that much older than me. That sounds crazy. But when I was like 16, you know, my stepmom was like just getting into her 30s, and she was a teenager of the 90s. And so all of her favorite movies of the 90s were my favorite movies of that era as well, you know? Although I will say, I think the 80s still holds the most nostalgic place in my heart. Couldn't really tell you why. I've just always connected with movies of the 80s. Obeyed or Limit's final words. Agatha all along. All right, guys. I love you all. Please go pick up some merch. This was so much fun for me. And I gotta say, thank you guys so much for the comments tonight. Some of these shows, I feel like letting loose a little bit and just reading your comments and interacting with you. And it feels really good to do that. And this week, we definitely got to do that. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to leave you with this from Brad. I lived everyone's... I don't know what that means, or I don't know why you got that impression, but... Oh my God. No, dude, I shouldn't have pinned that, actually. That was ridiculous. Brad, you bastard. All right, guys. I love you all. I'm going to get out of here. I'm past my time. But please tune in next week. We're going to be doing pretty much a full hour of movie talk, probably another giveaway. And I'll have a lot more to say now that we're out of summer blockbuster movie season and I can get on to new, fresh, fun, not summer blockbuster movie season stuff. So take care, guys. Let's play the outro. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you later.